Hello, and welcome to Inventors Helping Inventors. I'm your host, Alan Beckley, inventor of the Wonder Wallet. If you're an inventor searching for proven ways to make money with your invention, if you dream to see your product selling in stores everywhere, you've come to the right place. There's no better place to get help than from experts, inventors who've already achieved success. Every week, I interview successful inventors, asking them the questions you want to know. Tune in to learn from the experts so you can get your invention out of the tank and into the bank.
But what happened was, at some point, before I got the trade draft, the counterfeiters were coming out of the woodwork. We had 2008, and it just literally everything destroyed my business.
Welcome to episode number 491. Today, I interview, once again, Julie Austin. Julie Austin is an award-winning author, inventor, futurist, and keynote speaker. She's been a keynote speaker for corporations such as Procter & Gamble, Novartis Pharmaceuticals, Northrop Grumman, and Cognizant Technology Solutions. She's also been featured in the books Patently Female and Girls Think of Everything. Her patented product, Swiggy's wrist water bottles, have been a NASDAQ Product of the Year semifinalist and are currently sold in 24 countries. Julie and her products have appeared on The Today Show, The Queen Latifah Show, HGTV, Lifetime, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox News, Inc. Magazine, Fast Company, and the Wall Street Journal, along with dozens of TV shows, magazines, and radio shows around the world. Her new books, The Money Garden, How to Plant the Seeds for a Lifetime of Income, and From the King's Court to Kickstarter, Patronage in the Modern Era, are currently available on Amazon. Today, she continues to sell Swiggies while seeking a licensing deal, and is working on some new products as well. You'll want to listen to this entire interview where Julie shares when she saw a Chinese knockoff of her product showing a Pepe Le Pew cartoon image, she apprised Warner Brothers Legal of the dual infringement and got them shut down very quickly. Also, why she recently registered her trade dress with the help of her patent agent, which is much easier to defend against knockoffs. And finally, how after recently marrying, she discovered the challenges for an inventor of explaining strategies and sharing decisions with a spouse in the roller coaster world that defines invention. Now let's get right to our interview with Julie Austin. Julie Austin, it's a pleasure to have you back on the podcast with us again today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Julie, you invented an innovative way for runners to hydrate easily on the go. Swiggies, water bottles that are custom attached to your wrists. No more lugging around or keeping track of big water bottles. You have them right on you at all times. For our newer listeners, I most recently interviewed you in April of 2023, episode number 290. In that episode, you shared how you had a licensing deal previously that didn't work out. This caused you to pivot your strategy towards selling into the promotional products industry. Swiggy's was a hit there, and your product got great promotions on ABC, CBS, Fox News, and many others. For those who missed the first episode, you may wish to pause this episode and then go back to listen to number 290 to get all the details. My question to kick this off is, what has happened in your business since we last spoke about 18 months ago? Do you have some new developments to share with us?
I'm trying to remember, and my patent agent, who is absolutely wonderful, by the way, he suggested that I get a trade dress. Now, the reason I was able to even think about a trade dress is because I had a design patent. And most people will tell you a design patent is worthless. In my case, it was priceless. Because it was a design, based on a design, a trade dress protects the look of a product. And even then, everybody told us we couldn't get it. All of the attorneys that he talked to said, you'll never get it. My patent agent, whose name is also Alan,
Mm.
and Alan does not want to hear that. He said, all right, I'll show you. And between the two of us, we had a strategy. He was in tears. He was like, this is great news. And very few independent inventors ever get a registered trade dress. Most people don't even know what it is.
That's really excellent. That's a great spot for our listeners to consider. And also, it does align with something I've certainly heard from a variety of inventors, especially those who sell on Amazon. And that is that often if you challenge somebody who's knocking you off on Amazon, then, you have to say this, they're infringing your patent. And patent infringement lawsuits are punitively expensive. Very few inventors can afford them. And even if you do, then it's so contentious and back and forth. It's truly quite hard to defend a patent in court because of the complexity of the
Yes, it
patent
is.
system. However,
Yep.
copyright is a different game, for example, because a copyright often can be defended pretty easily. And trade dress is another thing like that because I've talked to at least two different inventors now who were on Amazon and had knockoffs, and they were able to show that their photos and things were being used by their knockoffs, and that was allowed Amazon to take the knockoffs off because you can't question that. This is, like you said, it's visual and etc. Sometimes there's an end around, and congratulations for working with somebody who's a creative thinker with regards to your patent agent, because there's always a lot of, I call them negative Nellies and negative Neds out
Yep.
there that will tell you, oh, you can't do that because of A, B, and C. And it's always good to be open-minded and find the way that you can do that.
I'll tell you what is so great about this is that it's uncontestable in court. If I go to court, and in fact, some of my infringers on Amazon are threatening to take me to court, I said, please do. Please take me to court, because we go into court, it's just obvious. It's very obvious. Their product looks like mine. It doesn't matter where the cap is. It doesn't matter where the band is. The mark is the bottle. And it goes into court. I win. It's uncontestable. And that's the beauty. Oh, the other beauty of it is that it never runs out. As long as I sell the product, it does not run out like a patent. Why, I would think that my product would be a really great product for anybody who's into intellectual property. No one can make this product and put it online or in the United States. Nobody.
Yeah, that's a good thing. What are your current plans for Swiggies? Do you plan to continue to manufacture and continue selling them into promotional products? Or would you consider licensing again? And then where are your Swiggies selling today?
I only sell them online today and occasionally in the promotional products industry. But what happened was, at some point before I got the trade dress, the counterfeiters were coming out of the woodwork. We had 2008, and it just literally everything destroyed my business. And in the meantime, I was building up. I also work as a motivational speaker. I have other businesses and other things going on. So it took a back seat. But always in the back of my mind, I'm sitting here with some inventory and mold, and I knew that I really wanted the licensing deal, but I didn't want to even approach it until I got the trade dress. And that has the registered trade dress. Yes. Oh, the question, would I like to license? Absolutely. I'm also, in the meantime, because I met you yesterday in the Starbucks, we just ran into each other, and I was with a sourcing guy who has factories overseas, and I'm going to look into getting more inventory and just doing some things on my own, like Amazon, and other things in the promotional market, and then continually try to get a licensing deal, eventually sell the business. And if I want to sell the business, it has to have a certain amount of cash flow. Do you think that's true?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So a licensing, absolutely, it could be licensed tomorrow. But if I want to sell the business, I'm going to have to manufacture again, which is, I thought I was over that, but I don't know. As inventors, we're never really through, are we?
No, that's so true. And you're pointing to my next question in some regard, and that is every inventor faces challenges. It just comes with the territory. So, what would you
Yep.
say has been your biggest challenge within the last 18 months since we spoke? And what actions have you taken to address that challenge?
I think the biggest challenge is always counterfeiters and infringers. And I had actually had an attorney send a letter to Amazon detailing, here's my intellectual property and this is how it infringes. And they never took it seriously. They finally did take one of them down. And then the person that put it up challenged it. And now I'm coming back with my own rebuttal. And they're in China. I would love to go into a court. I would love to do that because it would put an end to it once and for all. But I know that's probably very tricky. And it was my idea, my invention, and I came up with it many years ago, patented it many years ago. And it bothered me when people just flat out steal an idea. And I told them, I said, I will defend this because I have to.
There were whack-a-moles everywhere. And the
Yeah.
whack-a-moles, they're mostly little companies. They're just somebody who says, hey, look, this product seems to be selling successfully. Let me buy a
Mhm.
couple of them. Let me see if I can get some made in China like this myself. I don't want to be creative, so I'll just use their trade dress. I'll just use their pictures and things to promote it. And
Yeah.
they're just thinking maybe I'll make a few thousand or $10,000 off this thing. And then when things heat up and you threaten a patent infringement lawsuit or something, they just shut down that LLC and open up a whole new named company down the street somewhere, and they start up.
I'll say, oh, I'm so sorry. Somebody came to our factory and just brought this, and I didn't look it up, and I apologize. We'll take it down. And because I start out being nice. And then if they say, no, screw you, we're not doing that, we'll go to court or go take a hike, whatever then I pull out the big guns. And then I'll tell you one thing that I have done that I found a picture of a Warner Brothers cartoon. It was, let's see, Pepe Le Pew? Was that
Yes.
Warner Brothers? And it was on my bottle. And I found a picture of it and they were selling it. And so I contacted Warner Brothers and in their legal department, and I said, did you know that this company is putting your logo on my patented product? And they looked at it, it was gone. It was gone. Sometimes you can, and had same thing happened with, I believe with IBM. Somebody had just taken their logo and put it on my product and they were trying to sell it. And I got a call, somebody pretty high in the corporate office. And I said, this is my patented product. I know what's happening. It's an infringer, the counterfeiter in China that is trying to use your logo on my IP. And again, it was gone. And with the registered trade dress, I found that is way more enforceable than my patent ever was.
I love that story. In 400 podcast, almost 490 podcasts, I've not heard an inventor tell that story, and that's a creative story, that finding a trademark of some other large company that the infringer has decided would be great to put on the side of what is your product, and you just reach out to the big guns that have millions of dollars and say, hey, you just might
Yep.
like to know that somebody's infringing on your trademark product. Thought you might like to know, and give them whatever information they need. and magically it disappears instantly because they get a call from IBM, they get a call from Warner Brothers. They're not going to continue on that one. And so that's like bringing in the big guns instead of trying to fight them yourself. That's very clever.
Yeah. I've done a few things like that where I mean, you just have to hit them in the wallet, uh, so to speak, Alan,
Yeah, that's right.
the wallet man. You got to cut off their money source. And the same thing has happened. They tried to get it into the promotional products industry. And what happens with that is, imagine it's one hub, which could be ASI or PPAI, and then they have little distributors that distribute the product. So what happens is I would call them and I would say, you have a counterfeit product, you need to take this down. And it went back and forth. They'd say, oh, we'll contact the company. So I'd call the little distributor, mom and pop distributor, and I said, look, I don't want to hurt your business, because what's going to happen if you order from this counterfeiter from China and it gets to the port, they are going to turn that product back around because I've already registered it with, I believe it's Homeland Security.
I think it is. It does work too.
Yeah, yeah, and with the port, and they will just turn it around and you will lose money. I don't want that to happen to you. So just take it off.
That's a great tactic as well, and it's one that works.
Yeah, and you just start out being nice. And if people are not nice back and they insist, then you do other things. I've
Yeah.
never what even considered, going suing someone for stealing my product unless I did it in small claims court, which I could do. But as far as hiring a big law firm and doing that route, there are just a million other ways that you can protect yourself without going that route.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
My other thing I was talking about is that Chinese factories are willing to negotiate price right now. So it might be a good time, actually. And I've had to most of my business has been international. Almost all of it has. So I have had to deal with every country's different VAT taxes, the regulations and all that other stuff. And I'm very used to pricing in different margins. To answer your question, I will probably get some more inventory. But one thing that has changed in the 18 months is I got married. That's a big deal. Has nothing to do with my invention, but I got married. Now I have decisions that have to be made with another person instead of just me.
Congratulations. That actually is a big deal. It's a big life deal, and it's exciting. And the challenge for any inventor having a spouse, very frequently the spouse doesn't see it quite the way they do. And so
Well,
sometimes you have to say words like, you just got to trust me on this.
I was trying to explain how it worked this morning, and it's not easy because you go and you manufacture a product and you don't know what will happen in the market. You don't know how the sales are going to go. And mine took a totally different turn. I thought I was just going to do retail and big box like everybody else thinks they're going to do. And it ended up being almost all promotional product. You never know. And it was just hard to explain what I do. What do inventors do? But he's the one that is Mr. Spreadsheet.
Are there any parting words you'd like to leave us with?
I can't really think of anything. Inventing is, I want to say it can be a lonely business. For me, because I've been single my whole life, living alone my whole life, and I don't know a lot of inventors. So I was just, especially in the beginning, I didn't know anybody and anything. And so there are a lot more places now that you can just online where the communities and your podcast, then where you can connect with other inventors who have been through everything. I made a million mistakes every mistake you can imagine, just horror stories. Now I know what to do at least, but it took many years to figure everything out. So I think stick with it. Luckily, I've got the intellectual property that never expires, and that buys me a lot of time. That buys me the rest of my life and my heirs' life. But if you do get a patent, get on it because that time will tick by really fast.
It will go faster than you think because my patents are expired as well, I can assure you. So I know that deal. And my last question for you then is how can our listeners reach you if they have other questions?
You can find my website at swiggies.com, and that name might change, by the way. It started out as Hydrosport, and it's a long story about the trademark for Swiggies. But regardless, right now it's Swiggies, SWIGGIES.com. And you can reach me at my email is hydrosport@hotmail.com.
And just to repeat real quick, you spelled out the Swiggies, but the email is Hydrosport. Sorry.
Hydrosport at Hotmail. So that's HYDROSPORT
Great.
and it's Julie Austin. Yep.
Fantastic. Julie, I want to thank you so much. And maybe another 6 months or a year, we'll check back in and see what you've got going on at that time. So once again, thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you very much.
You bet. So you're done searching for your product and it's not out there. Yay! Maybe you filed for a provisional patent and done some marketing research or surveys. Heck, maybe you've even created a rough prototype, then found that, although it kind of works, it looks like something from the Stone Age. You'd be embarrassed to show it to your friends, much less to a manufacturer for a licensing pitch. What if I could put you in touch with a guy who offers free consultations, takes no money down, no money up front, and will give you a quote on your project before he starts? What if I told you that this same guy can help you design your product and make you a virtual prototype before you ever put a penny into building a physical one? What if I told you he could make you patent drawings, CAD files for manufacturing, and even make marketing videos and build you a website? If this sounds like someone you want to talk to, let me introduce you to my first podcast sponsor, Brian Keast at I Draw Dreams for Inventors. With 3.5 years of trade school and 15 years of mechanical experience working as a mechanic for General Motors, you have someone that's seen countless design failures and how they were fixed. Also, he had a 25-year career as a general contractor who designed his own houses and remodels on computer-aided design. In getting plans through countless building departments, he gained a tremendous amount of experience by working directly with structural engineers. The many years of combined experience in these two careers gave him a unique look into stresses and failures in design. He brings this wealth of knowledge and experience to his company, I Draw Dreams, as the CAD guy who will design a product for you that will work. Every inventor I've referred to Brian has come away delighted with the work he has done for them, and I think you will too. Just make sure to tell them that Alan sent you. Thanks so much for tuning in to Inventors Helping Inventors. If you like the show, please tell your friends about it. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts so you won't miss a single episode. Talk to you soon.